Right now, somewhere in America, a dentist is about to drill into your tooth. You'll pay $300. You'll be in pain for a week. And it's all because of something that didn't even exist for 99% of human history. Sugar in your daily diet. But here's the crazy part. Cavemen barely had any cavities. No toothbrush, no toothpaste, no dentist, no floss. So why were their teeth basically perfect? And why are yours falling apart? Let's go back about 10,000 years, before farming, before bread, before candy, before basically every food that destroys your teeth today. Cavemen ate meat, fish, nuts, roots, berries, and wild greens. That's it. No bread, no soda, no candy bars, no cereal, and most importantly, almost no refined sugar. Sugar is basically rocket fuel for the bacteria that live in your mouth. Every time you eat something sugary, those bacteria throw a party, and the leftover acid from that party eats away at your enamel. That's literally what a cavity is. Acid damage. Cavemen's bacteria. They had nothing to party with. Tough meat and fibrous plants don't feed cavity-causing bacteria the same way. It wasn't just what they ate, it's how they ate it. Cavemen chewed raw, tough, fibrous food for hours every single day. That constant chewing did two things. It scraped plaque off their teeth naturally, almost like a built-in toothbrush, and it triggered tons of saliva. Saliva is actually one of your best defenses against cavities. It washes away food particles, neutralizes acid, and even helps repair tiny bits of enamel damage before they turn into a full cavity. Modern food? Soft, processed, and pre-mashed by factories. We barely chew. Less chewing means less saliva, which means more time for acid to sit on your teeth and do damage. Here's something wild. Scientists who study ancient skulls and fossilized plaque found that the bacteria living in caveman mouths were actually different from the bacteria in ours. Modern mouths are dominated by aggressive cavity-causing bacteria, like Streptococcus mutans. But in ancient teeth, researchers found way more balanced, diverse bacterial communities, closer to what you'd find in a healthy gut. Basically, our high-sugar modern diet didn't just feed bad bacteria. It helped them take over and push out the more harmless ones. Cavemen had what scientists now call a healthier oral microbiome, purely by accident, just because of what was available to eat. And it's not just Homo sapiens. Neanderthals had surprisingly good teeth, too. Scientists analyzing fossilized plaque from Neanderthal skulls found traces of cooked plants, medicinal herbs, and even what looks like early use of natural painkillers when they had a toothache. That's right. Even 50,000 years ago when something hurt, someone was chewing on bitter plants like yarrow or chamomile, probably without even knowing why it worked. It just did. This tells us something important. Dental problems aren't new, but neither is the instinct to deal with them. Ancient humans weren't just passively avoiding cavities. In some cases, they were actively treating pain with whatever nature gave them. And get this, ancient people weren't completely ignoring oral hygiene either. Archaeologists have found toothpick grooves worn into the teeth of skeletons dating back over 1 million years. That's right, 1 million years. Early humans were literally picking food out of their teeth with sticks, bones, or grass stems long before anyone invented the toothbrush. Some cultures even chewed on specific twigs, like the neem tree in parts of Africa and Asia, which actually have natural antibacterial properties. People today still use chew sticks in some regions, and dental researchers have found they can be just as effective as a modern toothbrush at reducing plaque. So cavemen weren't just lucky with their diet. Some of them were doing a rough version of dental care this entire time, just without realizing it was hygiene. It was just survival. Now, before you start thinking cavemen had flawless dental health, they didn't. Their teeth were usually worn down to nubs by their 30s and 40s from chewing tough food, grinding grain with stone tools, and even using their teeth as tools to soften leather or untie knots. Some ancient skulls show major tooth wear, abscesses, and infections, which, without modern dentistry, could actually be deadly. A bad tooth infection back then wasn't a quick filling. It could spread and kill you. So it's not that ancient mouths were perfect. It's that they had a totally different set of problems. Less cavities, but more wear, breakage, and infection. Here's the real plot twist. The moment humans started farming, around 10,000 years ago, cavities actually got worse, not better. Why? Because farming meant grain, wheat, barley, corn, and grains break down into sugars in your mouth almost instantly. Suddenly, human diets were full of starchy, sugary carbs every single day, way more consistently than the occasional wild berries hunter-gatherers found. Archaeologists studying skeletons from early farming communities found a massive spike in cavities compared to hunter-gatherers right before them. Agriculture basically invented the modern cavity epidemic, thousands of years before candy even existed. And this isn't just ancient history. There are still groups of people alive today who eat closer to how hunter-gatherers did thousands of years ago. Researchers studying the Hadza people in Tanzania, one of the last hunter-gatherer societies on Earth, found dramatically lower rates of cavities and gum disease compared to people eating a typical Western diet, even though the Hadza have zero access to toothbrushes, floss, or dentists. Their diet? Wild meat, tubers, berries, and honey. Eaten occasionally, not daily, and almost never processed. When researchers compared their oral bacteria to people in industrialized countries, the difference was massive. Proof that this isn't just a theory about ancient skulls. It's happening in real time, right now, in a handful of places where modern food hasn't taken over yet. It's basically a living time machine for what human teeth looked like before sugar entered the picture. So what's the takeaway here? It's not that we should all go back to eating raw meat in caves, but there are real lessons hidden in this. Chewing tougher, more fibrous foods really does help your teeth and gums. Cutting down on sugar and refined carbs, especially sugary drinks, makes a massive difference, exactly like it did 10,000 years ago. And saliva really is one of your best natural defenses, which is part of why staying hydrated matters more than people think. Modern dentistry obviously gives us a massive advantage cavemen never had. But our modern diet is working against us in ways their diet never did. In a weird way, the healthiest mouth might be a mix of caveman eating habits with modern toothpaste. So next time you're sitting in that dentist chair, paying for a filling, remember, your ancestors never had this problem. Not because they were tougher, not because they were healthier overall, but because of three simple things: what they ate, how much they chewed, and how rarely sugar ever touched their mouths. We traded cavities for convenience. Soft food, sugary drinks, and processed carbs make modern life easier. But our teeth are still running 10,000-year-old software, and they were never designed for this. Maybe the real lesson from caveman teeth isn't to go back to the Stone Age. It's just to remember that somewhere between raw meat and modern candy, we lost something, and it's worth getting a little bit of it back.